Hey guys, I'm Mezzy and welcome to this quick start guide for Mythic Uldaman Legacy of Tyr. Legacy of Tyr is a new Uldaman dungeon coming in Dragonflight and will also release early with the Dragonflight pre-patch event. The first boss encounter is the Lost Dwarves. Each dwarf has their own abilities. Don't stand in front of Balog unless you're the tank. Heavy Arrow will deal a line of damage in front of him and Wild Cleave will cleave anyone in front of him. Eric will charge at players, so move out of the swirls, and Dagger Throw is unavoidable damage to random players, so heal that up. Olaf will throw his shield at you, putting an arrow above your head. Run away from other players. And when he casts Defensive Bulwark, interrupt him. Lastly, when they reach 100 energy, they will jump into their longboat and fire cannons at you. Move out of the swirls and don't stand in the fire they leave behind. The second boss is Bromach. Adds will spawn throughout the fight. Interrupt the Geomancers so you can group them up, move out of the ambusher's swirls, and AoE them down. Move away from the boss when he casts Thundering Slam, and when Quaking Totem is cast, the group will take AoE damage every second. Take the boss and the adds to the totem and kill the totem as quickly as possible. When the totem dies, the boss and the adds will be stunned and take 200% increased damage. The boss's final ability is Bloodlust, increasing all Trog's haste. Up next we have the boss Sentinel Talondras. You want to prevent her from reaching 100 energy. If she does reach it, she will become immune to crowd control, stop gaining energy and deal 50% more damage for 40 seconds. You deal with it as follows. When you have the circle of resonating orb around you, move it towards the tank but not on top of them. As soon as the orb spawns, move away or the orb will stun you. Next, as tank, move the boss into the orb before she reaches 100 energy to stun the boss. This will reset her energy and give her a stacking 10% damage buff called Unrelenting. When the boss casts the Inexorable buff, you will need to put the boss into 2 more orbs to get rid of it. While she has the buff, she is immune to stuns and thus will continue gaining energy. Other than that, when Crushing Stomp is cast, she will damage everyone and knock you back, so don't stand in front of an orb. And lastly, Earthen Shards is a dot that needs to be healed through. The fourth boss is Emberon. He will activate keepers around the room. You'll see that by the red barrier surrounding them. Fire orbs will spawn from them, so you need to dodge those. Tanks face the boss away from the group. Everyone in front of the boss will be hit by Searing Clap. Additionally, the entire group will get a dot on them. When you get the unstable Ember Circle on you, don't let anyone stand in your circle. And lastly, the boss will go into an intermission phase where he becomes immune to damage. He will spin a fiery beam of death around the room and pulse AoE damage. Don't get hit by the beam, don't stand in the fire barrier in the middle of the room, and don't get hit by the fire orbs. To get out of this phase, kill the 4 keepers that were spawning the fire orbs in the previous phase, as they're now targetable. As soon as they're dead, you go back to phase 1 and the fight repeats itself. The last boss is Chrono-Lord Deios. Don't stand in the swirls from the eternity orbs that fall on the ground, and don't stand in the zones they leave behind. The zones will grow, so be aware of that as you reposition yourself. Wing Buffet will deal damage to everyone and knock you back. Tanks, face the boss away from the group so that they aren't hit by Sand Breath. When the debuff Time Sink is cast on you, don't stand next to other players. Then the healers can dispel it. And lastly, when Rewind Time Flow is cast, the boss will deal damage to the entire group and reverse the progress of Eternity Zones and Orbs. While he's casting this, everyone should stand in Eternity Zones. While it's being cast, the zones will still deal damage to you, but they will also increase your haste by 50%. And that's all you need to know for Uldaman Legacy of Tyr. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe and share it with others. I would very much appreciate it as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. You can also follow me on Twitter at wow_weekly and on Twitch at twitch.tv/bbmezzy. For now, I'm Mezzy and I'll see you again next time.